happening? Everybody, you're welcome to Mansa-to-Mansa session. This is where we get the opportunity to tap into the experience and then the knowledge and wisdom that we have from experienced professionals in many disciplines. Tonight's session, it's fantastic. I am very excited to be a part of it. And so you are here at the right place. And I think this is a great session for, everybody, including students, young professionals, and even if you are growing your professional career, you will need this session very much. And I am very honored to be a part of this today's program. Without wasting much time, I think we are on the dot. Just a way to confirm if someone can hear me. Can I get some reactions? Some digital reactions in the chat just to confirm if you can hear me. Okay, all right, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think we would set the ball rolling. But then there is this beautiful culture from this part of the country. I won't mention my country now because I know we have some people from different countries joining the call. We're going to have a quick one of that. But then from where I come from, we love to start with the prayer for every event and session. And so I want someone to volunteer under 1 minute to pray so we can start this session. So anyone moved by the Spirit, anyone moved, can pray for us. Having the grace to be the moderator, I think I can choose from the list of people I see here. Alicia, what do you think?
I think you should go for it. I don't think I think you should.
I think
for sure.
Well, I see Derek. Derek, if you can hear me, just feel free. A short prayer so we can start today's session.
All right, we pray. Father,
Great,
we thank
you.
adore you, and we thank you for a day like this. We thank you for bringing us to. Father, we pray that the purpose of this meeting or the purpose of this gathering will be achieved. We thank you, we adore you, and we thank you for your grace and love upon us. In Jesus' name we've prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I think we were moved by the Spirit, huh? Anyway, thank you very much, Derek. So once again, you are welcome. My name is Prince Champon, and today I will be your humble moderator. And in fact, this is a big task, and so I'm not going to do it alone. I will be doing it with my great friend, Alicia. Alicia will be supporting. Alicia, over to you. If you have something, if you want to say something quickly, yeah.
Thank you guys for even being a part of this community. I'm very honored. I feel like what we're building is bigger than me and you and us. So thank you. I know it's a Sunday, you could be with family. So we appreciate your time and I'm excited for this conversation. So please interact, ask all the questions. And let's have a good time and get some learnings from this session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alicia, for adding the salt to this beautiful food we're about to eat. Yes, I saw a great reaction from Faik. At this moment, we want to hear a statement, just a short statement from the leader of this great community, Mansa-to-Mansa, to have a word with us. So, Faik, please, over to you.
All right, guys. Just wanted to thank everyone for being here. Want to also thank Rowena. I think we are all ready. We want to be inspired. Everybody's excited, right? Let's get it going. I'm excited. Can't wait.
Thank you. It's lovely to hear from you. When you have the backing of your leader, I think it's so nice. Yeah, so with a very quick round, today's session we'll try our best to, as usual, make it very short, but then going to be packed with wisdom, knowledge, full of knowledge in the room, And so with a quick round of some rules. This is our virtual room, and so we are going to urge everybody that if you are not given the floor, please kindly mute your microphone so it doesn't interrupt with the delivery of whoever will be presenting. And then also you can use the reaction, the virtual hand to react quickly if you want to say something or if you have a question. You can also put it in the chat. Myself and then Alicia will be monitoring the chat to see if, collate all your concerns. And then while the presentation is going on, we want it to be a very interactive session. No constraint. This is one of the flexible community you can ever think of. So as the presentation is going on, we want to see your questions in the chat. We want you to feel free and use the raise hand button so that we can see it and then give you the chance to talk. Now, great. I'm already excited. Without wasting much time, yes, in fact, when this opportunity came for me to nominate someone who we could have a session as a community with. In fact, I did not think twice about who we should represent today because this particular person has been inspiring me from the beginning that I met her. It has been a great time, every little bit of it. I have been closely following her social media handles, and I am always inspired with the works. And so today, maybe just like John the Baptist said that I may not be worthy to, untie the lace of the sandals of Jesus Christ. Maybe I am in that position. I might not be worthy to be the one, but then I'm very honored and humbled to introduce to us our speaker. However, to read the room, let me quickly check with us. We are going to have a very short ice break. We want to know those we have in the room. Okay, so with the quick one, I'm going to place a link in the chat. We want to appreciate the people we have in the call, from which part of the country that you're coming from. So in the chat, you can use this link to access this beautiful presentation. The first question we have says that from which country are you joining from? With just one word, we want you to just put, whoa, we have someone from the United States. Okay, Ghana is in the building. GH is in the building. Do we have, okay, US is in the chat. If you are still in Ghana, you can still put a chat. You could put the word in the chat.
Represent Ghana. I wish I were in Ghana. I don't want to write United States.
Oh, I see Ghana getting bigger. Ghana is getting bigger. It means we have quite a number of Ghana in the building. Whoa, Uganda is in the building. Yeah, okay. We have Kenya here too. Beautiful. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, great.
Ghana is top in the chat. Alicia, what do you have to say?
Listen, I wish I were in Ghana. I'm not the most patriotic to United States. So, listen, I represent Ghana today.
Whoa, Rwanda is in the building. Okay, you can also see Ethiopia here, right?
Yes.
In fact,
someone in the chat is from Swiss.
Whoa, nice. You're all welcome. Welcome, everybody. In fact, okay, South Africa. Okay.
This is great.
Keep it coming. We want to know where you're joining from. Keep it coming. In the next minute, maybe we'll move to the next one. Wow. Alicia, it speaks of it, what Mansa-to-Mansa has been doing. I think a community trying to collaborate, students collaborating, professionals collaborating across countries. Yeah. And I think this represents it, just as we have been portraying. And I'm very excited to have, for us to witness great people from all these countries being a part of today's session. Right. Canada is in the building. Wow. Okay. So let's move to the next question. A quick one. Now I want to know, or we want to know, which country in Africa would you love to work from now or even in the future? You can send your response. Are you sure you want to work from Ghana? Oh, okay. Rwanda is in the building.
Yes.
Oh, I see Rwanda bold. Do I assume we have people interested in working from Rwanda?
No.
Oh, somebody says Namibia. Kenya in the building. South Africa. With Rwanda coming out so bold like this, I'm curious to know the reason, you know? I don't
I'm
know
very
whether
intrigued.
maybe
Whatever it is, I'm very intrigued. Oh,
we
Ghana
should
is
have some.
strong.
Uh-huh. Okay. Keep it coming. Okay. I think we have seven. Let's take, three more. Let's see if we have Mauritania too. Okay. Let's take three more responses. Rwanda is still leading. Cape Verde. Hmm.
Pretty cool.
That sounds interesting, huh?
Yeah.
I think I should visit that place, you know. Okay. Cape Town and Ghana. Whoa, the president wants to combine the two. You need to come up with the secret you have for Cape Town and Ghana combined. Okay, great. In fact, this is exciting to see. Working from different part of the country, we have people with different flavors. It speaks of we humanity having different desires, having different flavors. And in fact, for that reason, it is also good to understand the perspective of certain achievements that has been achieved by great people or personalities. You need to understand the good report they have obtained for the past years. And for that reason, we are having today's session, and I'm so excited to introduce our speaker for today. And in fact, even the internet cannot contain the description we want to use to describe this person. Because literally, I actually asked ChatGPT, you know what? I want you to introduce this person for me. I had to revise and get it briefed a couple of times before I had a brief session because there's a whole lot of things to write about the speaker. And so let me quickly introduce so you understand who we have as our speaker today. Um, so, in a jiffy, 2, 1, okay. I just want to make sure I do not miss any accolade because it's very important. So today's speaker is someone who represents exactly what Africa's tech future looks like. Very bold, execution driven, and deeply intentional about impact. And have seen that in almost all the videos I have witnessed. She is the CEO of RukaPay, a fast rising fintech platform shaping how payments and financial access evolve across the internet. But beyond the title, she is a builder, and you're going to see that today. Someone who has moved beyond ideas into real scalable execution within Africa's digital economy. She has co authored a book titled Digital Transformation, the North Star You Need, and also co authored Uganda's Digital Transformation Roadmap 2023 to 2027. This is the perfect person we want to have for this session. She was named among 40 most influential women in Uganda, 35 most influential women in technology in Africa by the Chief Information Officer, Africa, among Africa's top 40 women leaders in fintech. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me or join me in welcoming the incredible visionary Rowena Turinawe. I hope I got the surname right.
Yes, you did. Thank you, Prince. You introduced me, and I was about to turn around and say, "What was he talking about? What is wild?" Thank you, Prince. Thank you, Mansa-to-Mansa, for having me. I don't know how Prince convinced you, but I'm honored. I'm delighted. I think I'm more excited than you are. I've been looking forward to this for a while. So I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for spaces like this because yeah, building shouldn't be lonely. It shouldn't be a lonely journey. Building and leadership should not be lonely. So I'm grateful for spaces like this. So before I go into my talk for the day, I wanted to ask. My topic is "You are not lost. You are early." Faik contacted me and asked what I would like to speak about, and I danced with the idea, toyed with the idea for days, because you might have to stop me. I can talk quite a bit, so I talk quite a bit, and so because I talk quite a bit, I try not to repeat myself, but also I try to be intentional to make sure that I'm adding value and that I'm saying something fresh, and so I can't overthink it. But what came to mind was "You are not lost. You are early." And I think as I go into it, I'll explain why I chose that topic. But before I go into the discussion, I wanted to ask a question. I don't know if Prince or Alicia, you can help me just track that for me with the link in the group. In one word, okay, in one word, how do you feel about your future right now? That's just the question to anybody, regardless of where you're at in your life, in your career now. One word, not one sentence, one word. How do you feel about your future right now? Your future could be tomorrow, could be 5 years, 10 years. How do you feel about it?
Let me put it in the chat so we can have some live session here.
Yes.
Uh, so you can have it in the chat. You follow the link, and then let's see
Yeah.
what we have in the room.
Yeah, let's see what we have.
Okay, so feel free
Also
to,
in the chat.
yeah.
Okay,
I
I
think
see
in the chat
Isabella
we
said
have people coming in the chat. Okay, go
optimistic,
ahead.
bright, excited. I like that. Very optimistic, confused. That's valid. Promising. That's good. The
So
very optimistic people. I love it. Can we have some more answers? How do you feel? One word. How do you feel about your future right now?
Somebody says
Anxious.
anxious.
Confused, but still have hope. That's good. That's always, hope is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I can get into it as more answers come. So I ask because I know that as you're growing and building, as we are dreaming and leading and doing all the things that we do, sometimes it might feel, or it could feel like we all have one group project. We're all in one group assignment. And some people got the memo and we didn't. Or some people got the memo and you didn't. Because it's very easy for us as young people developing and building, especially in Africa, to compare ourselves. So you compare and you think, oh, somebody is already building a startup, or somebody is already, running their own skincare line and they have some questionable confidence on LinkedIn and they have a podcast and they've got all these things going for them. Somebody's working a remote job in Europe, and everybody's journey is different. And it's easy for you sometimes, at least it's easy for me, I'll speak from my experience, to sometimes feel lost. Many times, like Prince introduced me, many times I hear people introduce me and I'm genuinely wondering who they're talking about because many times I felt lost. But I felt late. And yet I hear things like young ICT professional in Africa. I'm like, young? Because I had all these ambitions and I was like, I'll be retired by 40, and oh God, I had all these amazing dreams. But sometimes it's easy to feel that way, and it's valid. It's a valid thing. So what I want to talk about, what I want to share today from my experience are really 5 principles that could help us know the difference between feeling lost and being early, because there is a difference. And if you don't see the difference, then it's very easy to live an unfulfilling, stressful journey as you build and as you grow. So that is what I want to take us through today. So the first principle, the first school of thought is that you are not behind, you are underexposed. Sometimes we sort of think that we're behind the next person who's got the opportunity. We are too late for something. Somebody beat us to a job, or they beat us to travel overseas and do something, or they beat us to the next invention. Especially for us who are in tech, they beat us to grow our social media following. It's always we're chasing something that's not ours. But many times I find that it's not that we are behind; we're just underexposed. You see, the thing about exposure is that if you are exposed to the right rooms, the right language, the right standards early enough, then you are able to dream, to visualize. You see, the importance of exposure is you cannot become what you've never seen up close, or you can never become what you've never imagined, because then you have no aspirations. And the challenge we find in Africa is that many of us didn't grow up in the rooms that we aspire to be in now. We grew up in the rooms that we grew up in, and then we grew up and realized, hey, we want more, we need more. But we didn't grow up in those rooms. So we must invest in exposure. It must be something that we're mindful of, that, hey, I need to expose myself to this, because only then can I aspire to do that. And when we step into bigger spaces, whether it's technology or whether it's leadership or business or academia, or whatever it is, we often mistake unfamiliarity for inadequacy, right? If something is not familiar to you, you're likely to feel like, I'm not good enough. This is not for me. Or, you're second guessing yourself, or you're not confident, or your unfamiliarity is not inadequacy. But unexposure or underexposure is likely to make us feel that way. In my career, I had an amazing boss when I was in government. So I used to work in MTN. MTN is private sector. We all know MTN. I failed to have a call with Prince the other day, and we're like, is it MTN Ghana, MTN Uganda? We didn't know who to blame. But yeah, so I used to work for MTN, and then I moved to government. So when I moved to government, oh God, I was tested. I moved and I had to deal with people much older than me, much slower than me, God bless them, men who thought I had no place to speak, and a culture that was different, and so much was going on. So half the time I wasn't confident. But also I wasn't interested. I'm like, it's going to take us 10 hours to go through something basic. And, I just really, I didn't have the energy. I'm coming from high, fast moving MTN to government. I wasn't interested. But I had a boss. I think, who knew something I didn't at the time. I had a boss who used to push me in every and any corner. We would have a meeting, a large, high stake meeting, and he would suddenly fall sick. At first, I thought he was innocent. Suddenly fall sick, and he's like, "Oh, I was on my way and I couldn't make it." Hey, okay. So then I'm thrown in the deep end. Or then he would send me for news interviews, and he was constantly without my permission. And that's why I think leadership, to be a leader, you have to be brave, because you have to do some things that are not really your place, but are your place. Because I was like, who does he think he used to just treat me like this? And he used to send me to places and say, "Oh, I'm showing up, I'll come. You have my speech." Yeah, yeah. And then he doesn't show up. And he constantly did this until I just began to grow up. I began to embrace the fact that, okay, I have to speak a certain way. If I'm going to parliament, I have to dress a certain way. If I'm going to speak, I have to hold a safety pin and pace myself, because I speak too fast for the average mind in government. If I just began to grow because he exposed me. But more importantly, and when it comes to not feeling like you're behind, more importantly is I traveled before. So I grew up, I traveled before, and it was okay. We travel a few holidays, you're in a budget, it's a whole family, you're having a great time, come back quick, you know. And then when I had him as a boss, I used to travel everywhere. I used to travel in business class. Yo, guys, my mind, I was just like, this is what I was born for. Like and it seems like a small thing, but it opened my mind in all kinds of ways, because I would travel to a country for reason X, something completely different. But by the time I come back, I've observed that I can order for my food at a bus stop. That's wild. I can pay for, the tiniest things would excite me and get me thinking and get my mind thinking. So my mind was constantly brewing something. What do I innovate? This is so cool. This is so creative. Imagine if we had this, and then as I got exposed, one, it did two things for me. One, I wanted more for myself, but for the spaces I was in. But also, two, I saw that I could do more. And because of that, I wasn't comfortable with the bare minimum. So in my career, very early, I was in government for 6 years. By the second year, I had introduced so many changes, of course, made a few enemies, but I had done so much in such a little time, not because I was born a visionary dreaming to change the government. No, 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 please, no. Let's not kid each other. I was just exposed. I saw better. I saw what it could be like, and then I just began to imagine the self for myself, the same for my government, the same for myself. And so I began to do things. I was in charge of business transformation. So I began to set for myself targets. How do we reduce, how much we spend on paper, how much time this process, how many steps does it take for me to get a passport? Does it make sense for me to put my data in national ID? Then I give it to the guys of the passport. Then it's because I had been exposed to so many countries, even in Africa, they had pulled off these things. And so because of that, my mindset was able to shift to think different. My mindset was able to say, how do I rush? How do I leapfrog, so to speak? So when I speak to younger people these days and I hear them say, oh my God, I'm so behind. I wish I could have done this. Or my age mates are doing this. Many times it's not really a capability or capacity or knowledge or opportunity problem. It's an underexposure problem. So the first thing for anybody listening, you might want to go back and just check, what kind of exposure might I need? What kind of exposure do I have that I've been taking for granted? What kind of exposure? Because exposure compresses time. When we go back to the topic, you're not lost, you're early. It compresses time. One conversation can save you 2 years. The right mentor can save you 10 mistakes or 5 mistakes. Being in a room long enough with the right people can change your concept. So the moment we think about growth and think about where am I in my journey in terms of timeline, the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, are we underexposed? Are we exposed enough? We have to be intentional? Or are we taking for granted what we see when we do get those opportunities to be exposed? And so my practical guidance there would be, get into the rooms, make the time. Yeah, like I just said, we could have been with family now. It's what time in Uganda is late. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
We can take changes for the world. We have to be intentional. You have to ask questions. I keep telling people, learning is only for the humble. You need to
Let me
be.
come in. Let me come in here. Let me come in.
Yes.
I'm curious. I'm curious to understand certain things.
Yes.
So you mentioned that having a boss who understood you, you know,
Mm,
sort of like paved the way. How did you recognize this was it? How did you recognize it? Because there are some instances the friction at the workplace might be too high, and then as a young professional, you might not know. How did you manage, or what did you do to find out that no, this is the great opportunity for me to leverage on that?
That's a good question, and it's funny you ask. I didn't recognize immediately. I just kept saying yes. I'm the kind of person. You see, when you asked me, I didn't even think twice. I was like, yes. I was like, what? Then I had to go back and think, what has he just asked me? I just kept saying yes. Sometimes I thought it was audacious. I was like, how dare he? I just kept saying yes. I kept showing up. I kept asking, guys, I can ask questions. I told you, I warned you. I asked questions. I asked all kinds of questions. So I just kept saying yes. And then eventually I realized that, yeah, he was onto something. He knew something. And that's why I keep telling the younger people these days, always pay attention, follow builders, not influencers. There's a difference. Follow builders, not influencers. Pay attention to how people think, not just what they post. Because I paid enough attention as he kept opening these doors, and I used to pay attention. What is he actually building? What is he achieving? What's the message behind it? And eventually I just realized that this is an opportunity. This is gold. Take advantage of it. But the answer, Prince, is I just kept showing up. I kept saying yes. I kept learning. I kept asking. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that would be it. Ask yourselves about exposure. Also, has anyone ever opened a door for you before you felt ready? Probably they have. Even if they have, and you said no, I think now would be a good time to go back and say yes, 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 yes,
Yes.
because that's one of the ways that you kill time. That's one of the ways that you take advantage of being early. The second is, okay, once we've moved from, we're not late, we're managing the exposure thing, then you realize that, okay, I have potential. This thing has potential. The same thing I had with the journey I had with my boss. But the thing about life is no one rewards potential. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards usefulness. See, potential gets you nice comments. I had so much potential. Oh my God, she's brilliant. She got a first class. Oh, she got a master's from Manchester. Oh my God, it just gets you compliments. And okay, it's great. They clap you. And we like that. Now for me, I don't know, I'm a Christian, and in the church, we're just always about hope and excitement. And oh my God, we like feeling good about ourselves. It's great. Yeah, potential won't write the bills. It won't cash the checks. It won't nobody will call you back for potential. Nobody will pay you for potential. So you've got this exposure. You're early, meaning you're just on time to transform that potential into usefulness. And what is usefulness? Usefulness is just your ability to solve a problem, any problem. So we must ask ourselves in that space, how do I move from she has so much potential, she can become something, to what are you solving? I'll give you an example. In my career, I left, it's a story for another day, but I started a fintech. A man sold me a dream, and I'm all about potential. That's why this is personal for me. He sold me potential. And I allowed to be the CEO. I said, let's do it, let's start this thing. And the moment I began the job, everybody, because of my reputation in Uganda, somehow people, they know the things I've done. They know that you give me a bone at your own risk. So everybody was rooting for me and saying, oh my God, it's a perfect person. It has to work. It's going to be good. It's going to be amazing. And then we go into month 1, month 3, month 8. Whoa. And I'm still struggling. To get the right license from the central bank. I'm struggling with the team. I'm struggling with these Gen Zs. Oh my God, I'm struggling. I was juggling so much. And yet I'd been a leader for almost my entire career. I'd been a leader. But somehow I was stuck in the space of potential. I had become Miss Potential. I was stuck in that space of she can do it. She's got all these achievements. She's done this and she's done the other. But there's a difference between being impressive in a conversation and being useful in execution. And that it's for a leader, for somebody building, it can be painful and humbling. So in my new job, I had to draw a line between, okay, we've had enough about my potential. What can we actually solve? So after not wasting almost 8 months of potential and hoping and trying, we had to go back to the drawing board, eat humble pie. I went to my shareholders. I said, okay, now here we are. We need to go back to the market and test. And so we had to re-strategize, recalibrate, literally, start from scratch. So I'm going to say I burnt 8 months of your money and time, and thank you for hiring me, but we have to go back to the drawing board. But why was that important for me? It was important because if you're not solving an actual problem, you're not useful, there's no reward for you. And if there's no reward for you, then before you know it, you'll be frustrated, right? And I keep asking my people, I ask my staff, if someone hired you tomorrow, if you hired you tomorrow, what problem would you solve? What solution would you have to offer? So we had to go back to the drawing board, reinvent, redesign. Are we moving? We had a different model. We had to now move back to cross-border. We literally turned everything around. And then we saved time, because the progress we made in a few months after that literally ended the 8 months of wasting we did. But why? It's because we were getting stuck in potential. We were hearing that song of, oh my God, you've got the best CE. You've got the best technology person. It gets comfortable. It's like, oh, I've seen all these things. Of course I can do them. I have potential. And it's a trap. It's very easy for us to fall into that trap. So you have to ask yourselves, we have to ask ourselves at any point, what problem am I solving? How am I making it cheaper? How am I making it easier? How different is it? I ask my product team all the time, if you didn't work for RukaPay, would you use the product? Okay, then they answer. I say, okay, fine. If you left the company, would you keep using the product? Because we need to ask ourselves honest things like that. It's being in spaces where you're getting exposure and your mind is getting ideas, but practically, are you solving any problem? Because you can do this for years and be in these spaces and get frustrated. So we need to be honest and introspect and ask, are we actually executing? Because execution is what gets you opportunity. It's what gets you trusted, what gets you paid. Are we solving any problem? So it's not that you're lost, no. You're just on time to figure out what problem you can solve, to figure out how you move to execution. Because being in spaces like this is great, but then you need to ask the hard questions. How do we move to execution? So that's sort of how we also cut time. So
can I do a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm sitting here as a young student about to graduate. All right.
Mm,
Because I mean, you talked about potential. You talked about everyone know when you finish with the first class and all of
mm,
that. What should be practically? What should be my strategy as a student about to graduate? What should I combine together?
mm,
Well, how should I orient myself so
mm.
that, I mean, we cannot deny the fact that it's also very good to have a very good grade, finish with a very good grade.
Yeah.
What what do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
miss? What should we introduce to
Okay.
make this beautiful?
That's a brilliant question, Prince, because first of all, grades, let's not play with grades. Grades are the most important thing. Why? Because before somebody gives you a chance to prove that you can solve a problem, they have to give you a chance. And unfortunately or fortunately, in this world we live in, there is most times the results matter, at least for me as an African woman. Before I step into rooms, my papers will go. So of course the grades matter. That's without a doubt. But the thing that we, especially for the younger people, the thing that you need to quickly move out of is he has potential or she has potential because you finished school or you're finishing school. Now the question will be, where are the results? It will be like me when 8 months in, where are the results? You see, imagine if a woman got pregnant and after 6, 7 months, there's no sign that she's pregnant. People would wonder. So it's the same for a student. Always tell yourself you're out of uni now, so you need to quickly find a problem. Finding a problem is not the same thing as finding a job.
Mhm.
I'm not
That's
saying
deep.
I'm not yeah, I'm not saying look for work.
Break it
I'm,
down for me. Break it
I'm not
down for me,
saying look
please.
for work. I'm saying look for a problem to solve. There's problems all around us. How do you solve it better? So even if you're in uni, you can even start with the issues you had in university. What were the issues you had? Or what are the issues you observed, the problems you observed way earlier as a younger person that nobody has figured out? How can you solve it? What could the gap be? But what I think the advantage they have, the younger people have now, is that they have IT. You see, I keep telling people that you don't have to be a software engineer to be relevant in the tech area. I wasn't a coder. I wasn't a coder. I began my career in networks, trying to climb poles and connecting internet. I went to service management. Then I went to government. Then I've done all kinds of things in IT. But the thing about tech and why tech gives an advantage to the younger people, you just need to understand the world you're entering. Basic digital fluency. Can you speak digital? Can you use the tools that will get you ahead by default? Even as you walk into what to solve, you must have those basic skills. You need to have tool awareness. What can you use for what? You see, because then again you're sort of leapfrogging. You're buying yourself time. You're saying, okay, other people have left university. They're still enjoying the potential, from their first class or whatever it is. I'm already jumping into thinking how to solve a problem. What tools can I use? Can I use those tools? Am I aware of what they can do? I used to complain about this chat GPT, this annoying ad on YouTube that used to drive me mad before I was so against paying for it. And I kept, and I each time I would listen to get a short course in AI, and it began to ring in my mind. And I thought, it's ad is annoying, but there is wisdom in this. Because imagine what a young person with digital skills, actually beyond just typing and asking what might the weather be today, against somebody who's their peer who doesn't. So it's quickly moving to what can I solve, but also what can I use? What tools are available? What knowledge is available? What spaces like Mansa-to-Mansa are available? You need to quickly move into execution. Otherwise, you can easily stay in potential for years, and then you come back to that discussion of I'm lost and late. So how we get early now is that as soon as you finish, just move out of the mindset of potential and move into execution. What am I solving? How am I solving it? And you need curiosity. Young people, I think, have the blessing of being curious like children. They ask all kinds of things. I keep arguing with my team. I say, guys, passion, we can't be passionate forever. I don't know if that's how it works. Passion can't sustain a vision. No, I think it's sustained curiosity. It's not passion.
That's
Passion
true.
fades. Yeah, I told you I've been a leader. Passion fades. You'll be passionate about a product, and then a phase will come, and then you've achieved, and it's like, okay, what you're passionate about, we're about to launch this, and it's evolving. Even in marriage, sometimes passion fails. In friendships, it's how we're wired. Curiosity must be sustained. So if you're young, I feel like the young, how the advantage they have is they're constantly curious. And I tell people, you must, if you're a leader here or you're building something, even for yourself, find ways to sustain that curiosity, because people who are curious will run miles ahead of their peers. So I think that would be my advice to a younger person.
Rowena, in fact, even up to this point, we have some things running in the chat.
Oh,
Alicia, do you mind to
Yeah.
look through some of them?
Yes, well, we have Faik. We'll let Faik go and ask this question first, but then we have
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
in the chat who has a question for you. Faik, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to something you mentioned earlier, right? Two things actually: the importance of exposure, and then also the importance of being in a room, right? Room where decisions are being made, right? For most of our members, those are the two most important things right now, like how to get a right exposure, right? And then how to find your way into that room. What would you advise our members, like how to navigate those paths to get into those places?
Okay. So what I would advise for somebody who's getting into these spaces is, one, you need a decision ring. So you need to immediately a decision ring or a decision circle. That's a smaller space of people who can help you make the right choices. Your peers matter. The people you surround yourself with matter. That's one. Because if you surround yourself with people who also have ambition to be in the right space or to make a change or to grow or to build, they're likely to be chasing the same thing. So you surround yourself with a decision circle that's, similarly aligned. Another thing also in mentorship is, don't look for far-fetched celebrities, or I get all kinds of people asking me for mentorship, and I listen to them and I speak to them, and then I advise them on where else to go, because I know that there's not much value in me mentoring them if I'm not in line with where they want to be, or if there's no likelihood of us walking a journey. Because mentorship is like discipleship. It's something a bit deeper than just adding each other on LinkedIn. So my advice would be, yeah, look within your circles. Don't look far. Don't think of the person with so many likes on LinkedIn or the person who's been awarded and whatever. Look within your circles. Who's 4-5 steps ahead of you? Whose life looks like what you would possibly want yours to look like. Don't look too far, right? So look for mentors within your field, within your space, with that exposure, right? And then also look for somebody to hold you accountable. Accountability is a very powerful thing. I found that even if it's one person, don't make it an app, please. Apps, you can tell the app what to do. Find a person, find people. If it's here in Mansa-to-Mansa, find one person who you can give express permission to hold you accountable, right? So you have a target. Say, okay, in the next 5 months, I want to do this. I want to get mentorship. I want to do an internship, even if it's not paid, whatever it is. So you share goals. Then you have somebody hold you accountable. How far with the goals? What do you need help? Do you need whatever it is? I think. And then the last, I think, for people who are looking for spaces like this, it's social media, the tools that we have now in IT. It's amazing how many resources are available online that mind your business even without you asking. Because our data is all over the place. It's amazing how being in certain spaces, all kinds of suggestions and recommendations and random things come your way if you use the right tools. It's very unlikely for me to be using, I don't know what to, like a random, maybe, okay, TikTok can stretch, or maybe Snapchat as an example, and then I get a link about a job in the UN about tech or whatever. But if I'm following the right things and the right people and the right social media and using the right tools, the suggestions, the recommendations will be similar. So you must be intentional. I meet people who say, I'm serious 8 to 5, but then I want me some good brain rot the rest of the night. It's great. We all want some brain rot, I guess, to an extent. But because we live in a digital era, I would encourage you to also find your version of brain rot on a tool or an app or a medium where you're likely to find useful information that's in line with where you want to go. I hope I've answered you. Okay.
Useful info. We have a question from Thelma. What about if you didn't get good grades, but after you found yourself and now you're better than years before? So what advice would you give someone? Because I know you mentioned the grades are important. And some people I know just do not do well in like this traditional way of learning, right?
Yeah.
And so what advice would you give to someone who's I didn't do so well, but now I feel like I figured out who I am. How do I
Yeah.
move forward?
Okay, I think I would be the best person to answer that. Why? So I was always like a smart kid, and then I did my A levels, and then I flunked. I didn't get the grades I wanted to get. I did well, but not well enough. So I didn't do well. Why lie? Like I didn't do well, and I wanted to be a lawyer, and I couldn't be a lawyer. So I ended up doing IT. I didn't want to do IT. I just wanted to be rich, like some other guy who was selling DVDs. But it's a true story, but that's a story for another day. But in that time of me being so sad, I remember my dad was like, "Oh no, we can look for the money and take you to a law school in Dar es Salaam." And everybody had all these great ideas, but I was like, you know what? Let me just do IT. I mean, so what if I didn't get good grades and stuff? And I did IT for the wrong reasons, but I did IT and eventually I began to love it. I did well, like you said, Thelma, and I found my footing. And you know what I find interesting about my life is I can't remember the last time anybody asked me for my A level results. It's wild. No one. At the end of the day, if you dive deep into execution and do a good job, and surround yourself within the right circles and actually solve problems, it will be not it won't be a showstopper or anything. So I don't think it's nothing to discourage anybody about. It's happened to me, and look at me now in tech, loving it. So it doesn't matter per se if you don't get the good grades or you get the good grades. What matters is what you do after that. How do you move from that? What do you execute? What do you learn? How do you move from that? And I think that's all that matters. So that shouldn't be, yeah.
I think that's really great, and I am someone who believes in alignment. So I think sometimes those things are just redirection. Like
Yeah.
might have been a lawyer and ended up not liking it. Like I have a lot of people I hate being a lawyer. So
Imagine.
so I'm inspired to see founders, especially ones that look like me. So yes, this is very inspirational for me, and yeah, I can listen to you talk all day. So
Yes, I told you I can talk all day.
no,
There is a chat.
I have
It
my
says my mentor has been. Go
yeah,
ahead.
my mentor has been pushing me hard, and with your words, confirm that he's doing the right thing. So confirmation that your words hit something really solid and aligned.
Yeah, that's a good mentor, because if there's no accountability, and that's the risk that you run if you get a mentor who's a celebrity far off. And it's unfortunate that some of us who are more advanced or older in our spaces, sometimes we tick a box. We like to tick a box. Oh, I'm a mentor. I have 5 mentees. So even they don't really care. But if you find a mentor who genuinely invests, who holds you accountable, who makes you do the tough things, that's a good mentor. That's a mentor who cares. So you're right, James. You're 100% right.
Okay, I have a question. Maybe it'll be the last question before you move to the next one.
Okay.
In your social media post, you made a comment. You said you got gray hair at the age of 25. That was, I want to assume that has a relationship to do with stress at that
Yes.
moment, career. How did you manage that?
Okay, so I was still talking about execution. So I got into execution mode, and then I got into super execution mode. So I'm naturally a high achiever. I like to do extra. I don't like mediocre things. I don't like things that leave me second guessing. So when I got this job, initially at the job at MTN, initially it was for one country, right? So I get a job and they're like, oh, you manage, services for one country in Uganda, great. They decide to grow and then we have shared services and then they're like, oh, so we'll own Swaziland, okay. And Rwanda, okay. South Sudan, okay. Zambia. It was a joke. But because I was a high achiever, I didn't stop. So I kept going, my team kept growing. I was managing all these things and I never made time. I didn't have a balance. And I never had time for everything. I never had time for anything. So it went on for months and months on end. And eventually I began to fall sick. I began to get high blood pressure at my age. I wasn't overweight. I was kind of normal. I began getting gray hair. And I generally, my mental health, I was not doing well. So I was constantly stressed. I was not sleeping. And eventually I decided to look for, the good thing is I got a job immediately before I could resign, but I decided to leave. So every time I'm in spaces now, Prince, I always tell people you must find time to pause. It's important that you pause. Sometimes the most strategic things you can ever do for your life don't involve a boardroom or a spreadsheet. They look like rest. They don't look like a boardroom. Strategic for your life. They look like rest. They look like a sunset. They look like paint. I paint these days. My painting is terrible, but it makes me happy. Painting and beading, that's my therapy. Because it's never that serious when it comes, if you have to sacrifice your life or your humanity, then it's never that serious. If your body breaks, then all your ambition becomes useless. So I went through that phase and eventually I had to quit, get another job, and then just move on to something where I could take time off, where I could take time to rest, where I could say, no, I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to do ABC. Because there has to be a balance. Sometimes ambition is anxiety dressed in high heels, excessive ambition. Keep telling the girls I mentor, watch yourself. Sometimes excessive ambition is just anxiety wearing high heels. So we must pause, take a beat. So I did that. I took a beat. I began dancing. I used to go for dance class. I began resting. Because speed, we reward speed, especially in tech. How fast can you adapt? How fast can you build this? How fast can you innovate? Oh, this guy has already gone to the market with this product. Oh, you're too late. This innovation, it's brilliant, but you have to take a beat. You have to pause. Yeah, so I had to pause. I had to slow down. I was like, okay, it's fine. So find hope, find things to do, and you have to be intentional, right? So I had to be intentional. I had people you hold me accountable. When was the last time you took a walk? Ah, let's walk. Well, when the other day I had a stressful day and I came to paint, much in motion. My kids were laughing like your painting is so bad. They are so happy with my art. It was brilliant. I painted something with Fitspa. In one corner, I had women in tech. Then it was a mess, but it made me so happy. So we must, anybody building, it's very easy, by the way, to move from I'm ambitious, I want to do better. And especially in Africa, it's competitive. There's too many brilliant young people here. But if you're always solving a problem, you will always have work to do. That's my theory. Don't kill yourself trying to do that. Yeah. Speed matters, but unmanaged speed will break you. So always take a break. Be intentional about taking a break. And most times communicate to your boss. Like now there's days and I'm like, no. Thursday I'm doing this, you can't get me. So I do my work, I do it well, but we know that on this day this and this has to happen because you left the balance. Yeah. So I did that. I just had to.
Thank you for saying that. Because I think it's important. Rest is just as productive.
Yeah.
I experienced burnout and I had to, like, your body will set you down if you don't do it yourself.
Yeah. I also say you're still a human being, you're not a productivity app. Calm down.
We have some questions, but I want to go with, this is more of someone asking for advice. She says, even though I'm doing more project alone without a job and been at home, sometimes I feel like giving up, but I'm still pushing hard. What advice would you give to someone who feels defeated, but still trying to push through at this moment?
Don't give up. That's all I can say. Don't give up. Don't give up. It's never that serious, my love. I took a year of work. So that's a story for another Mansa-to-Mansa. So you have to call me back. I took a year of work. I left a job and I took a year of sick leave with no pay, with no plan. I had sort of given up. I reached a point and I was like, you know what, if I die, I die. It's fine. I was going through so much emotionally and mentally, and my body had begun to fail, literally fail. And I had reached a point of giving up, and I took up a year. And then when I came back, I tried to work, and I was like, this is not working. So I resigned. I resigned again with no plan, no nothing. And then I would come home and color and eat chocolate and hope someone visits me. And I was in a state like that. So I know what it feels like. I know what it's like. Not exactly your situation, but I can imagine because I've been there, where I'm just like, you know what, this is not working. This is not worth it. But one of the things that I think I'll encourage you with is that I keep telling people I don't know what religion or what faith you prescribe to. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian, but also I know that whatever I feel like none of us were consulted when we were brought onto this earth. We haven't figured out every tiny thing. We didn't figure out how our teeth would grow, our hair would grow, if we would walk, how we would walk. None of this was up to us. So I must believe that I will be fine somehow, that it will be fine somehow. Because I believe in God, I know that He will take care of me. But at that point, I was so discouraged. It didn't matter. until things just started to fall into place. People would call, oh, hi. Are you coming? Is Tycoon in Uganda? That's how I met Prince actually. Oh, can you give the keynote? Keynote? I haven't been working for almost 2 years. I'm just sitting here eating chocolate and coloring, and an opportunity came, and even the CEO job. I remember they called me to give me the job, and they were like, oh, do you want to send your CV? I was like, how did you find me? You can check on LinkedIn. And it wasn't from pride or anything. I was genuinely, my mind hadn't even thought that, oh, is this a job? That's how much I was just like, I had sort of just given up. But my encouragement to it's somehow more things just work together somehow. I like that Alicia talked about alignment. You find that if you look back on your life, I don't think you planned every tiny, tiny detail the way it went, or everything that you've achieved in business or whatever. I don't think you did. But some things worked out. Hopefully, most things worked out. I'm sure most things worked out. So just encourage yourself that, yeah, you can eat if you need to, you can take a break, but don't give up. Don't give up. I think, yeah, there'll be better days. Don't give up. Take it from me, don't give up.
Can I add a few things to this questions, a few points here?
Go on.
Yes, yes.
All right. So what I'm also going to add to what Rowena said, right, is to number one, don't build by yourself, right? Don't build in silos, right? Collaborate with others. Number two, try to seek the right exposure, right? By pretty much talking about your projects, about your work, everything that you have been building alone. Make sure that you are sharing it within your community, right? You can do that on LinkedIn. Like Rowena said earlier, make sure you are solving real problems with the projects that you are doing. Number four, whatever company that you want to work for, right? Seek them, right? Look them up. Look for the problems that you are facing and try to solve those problems and then talk about them. You never know who's going to reach out to you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks for those, Jen Fike, our fearless leader. We needed that. Colin. So Elizabeth has a question for you. She said, oftentimes as a female, we feel like leadership in the workplace requires us to lose ourselves and change who we are in order to succeed. Do you feel this?
Do we have to lose ourselves? No, I don't think we do. Do we have to compromise? I think we do. As do the men. I don't think, how men in the workplace sometimes take on a persona of, they're macho or they depending on the culture in the organization. You might find there's some guys who just want to be soft, sweet, what are their plans type of thing. Or you might find there's, everybody is their own person. So every culture forces you to take on some sort of identity or culture or something. For the women, I think some environments, some workplaces are worse than others. Some are not as compromising or make it seem that way. So to an extent, the answer is yes. We all have to not lose ourselves, but compromise. When you bring it specifically to the women, unfortunately, there are things that you have to work twice as hard to be heard in the room. You have to, speak just a little longer or a little, use different words. You have to put in a bit of more effort for some people to pay attention. And that's just unfortunately the price that we pay. If you have to lose yourself in terms of maybe changing, devaluing yourself or, lowering your standards or whatever, it's not worth it, I think. Just that believing and praying and, trusting and strategizing to leave that place because it's not worth it. But we have to compromise. There's places I've gone to. It's a fun. I had it for the first time recently, and I was like, "What?" I was going onto a panel, and I was asking one of my colleagues, "What should I wear?" I was just trying to think. I do want to wear this. It's hot, and I was having a whole debate. And then I asked, "Oh, can I wear?" You're trying to wear. I want to wear jeans. It's a Friday, and I wanted to wear jeans. And she said, no, some outfits are gender sensitive. There's a word she used. The what? And then she went into explaining how it's okay for the guys, but then it's not okay for me. And as she spoke, other people joined and they were all like, no, you can't. And then I get there and everybody's in jeans and I'm in a dress and I'm awkward, but I'm like, it's just some things we just have to compromise because we are women. But lose ourselves, I don't think we have to. We don't have to. Compromise, yes, we kind of do. Some things just disadvantage us by the fact that we are women, but that doesn't mean we have to lose ourselves. work a bit harder, maybe do things a bit different, maybe. I think because we are wired different, we sort of get things done better, faster. We have our own strengths, but we have to package a few things so that we sort of get our yeah. I can see Alicia nodding. I think
Of course. I'm all for the women empowerment. That we're wired differently, but I think at large we compromise in life in general.
Yeah.
So I don't think you necessarily should try to change yourself, but you choose your battles. I think
Yeah.
it's a strategic way to move in the workforce. So thank you for that. I have a question in the spirit of Women's History Month. What's the biggest misconception about women leadership, especially in the tech industry?
The biggest misconception I've found is that we don't know tech. It's like, oh, women can't code. They can't be code. They'll just do front-end development, or they can't do networking. They don't really know technology, by the way. They just talk really nice. Or, give us a break. It's such a lie. I don't know. It's a misconception that women leaders in tech don't really know tech. No. If they go home and they ask you to fix the remote, that's a home thing. That's not on us. But yeah, I think for me, that in my experience has been the biggest misconception. It's I'm in meetings and everyone is explaining, do you know that it's ones and zeros, and like the most basic IT, and I just have to be polite until I'm like, but guys, I would like to introduce you to it. I would like to introduce me to you again. Then I have to remind them that I studied IT, and I'm like, I have to do it over and over. It's a joke, but it happens. They'll say the most basic thing and make it seem like it's rocket science just because it's you. And you just listen and you're like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Great, great, great to know. Happens all the time.
Good. You have to reintroduce yourself as many times as you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
But be you in those rooms. So thank you for sharing that with folks. And I occupy a lot of space where no one looks like me, and very authentically myself. So I want the students on this call to embrace who you are. Have a lot of audacity. You speak about stepping out when your boss is out and being in rooms. I've been in rooms where I didn't speak a language, but I want to know what's happening. So audacity will take you very far. You don't have to know a thing. Say yes to the opportunity and figure it out afterwards if you're curious about it. So thank you for sharing. Prince, do we want to continue with questions, or do you have, how are we feeling?
I think Rowena has a lot of things to share with us.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with the questions. I'm okay with the questions. I told you I can talk today. I'm okay with questions.
Sure, yes. So, Prince,
so what do you prefer? Do you want to continue with the presentation, or we go ahead with the questions?
No, we can go ahead with the questions.
Okay, great. Alicia, over to you.
Samuel, you've moved from technical roles to high-level leadership and entrepreneurship. For those of us currently in the learning and building phase, what is the most important soft skill you should be developing right now that isn't taught in schools?
The most important soft skill, how to manage people. And not manage them in the sense of manage them, but manage them in the sense of relate with them. There's a difference. People can tell when they're being played. They can tell when you don't care. It's not like a computer that you can fool. So a soft skill is learning how to relate with people. Because if you can relate with people well, then you can manage them. Then you can get anything out of them, but also you can pour things into them. Because I think the greatest loss that we have as I have as a leader is if I have somebody I can't pour anything into. So there's no growth. There's nothing for me to look back and say, oh, this is amazing. This person has learned, is so grown. So it's really, if you ask me, it's relationship. How do you relate with people? That would be the greatest soft skill. We don't learn that. We learn communication skills, great. Interpersonal skills, which are not really relational skills, great. We learn all kinds of soft skills, but actual how to relate, I think that cuts across whether you're at the top, at the bottom, in tech, in entrepreneurship, in wherever you are. I think that would be, Joel, I think if you can invest in that, you'll be winning.
Thank you. We're going to take one more question, but we want to hear more from you. I think the students are eager to hear about your experience and the topic. So let me take one last question from the chat, and then we'll hear a little bit more. Someone said, "How do you find yourself again if startups or company exploit you? For example, you build software for them and they don't pay you all the name of probation period, but you end up building a full project. I want to know, how do you go past this phase of life as a young developer?"
Okay, so I think my advice to you, when I worked in government, I was responsible for the portfolio of government. So we were responsible for developers like yourself, and we used to face this problem all the time. Developers pitch, or they're interns, and they build software for a company, and the company of course takes it and steals it. And of course, as NITA, because we're the National IT Authority, we try to come up with policies, and we try to come up with all these amazing things on paper, but we were struggling to see how to protect and defend the younger innovators. So eventually, what we did is what I would advise, and what we would advise the younger developers, is that one, if you're developing, I don't know in that startup if you're employed or if you're an intern, but if you are developing software or a solution, make sure that you have registered it. I like that, Alicia. We're talking about lawyers now. Make sure that you've trademarked and you've registered it, because if it's your intellectual property, even if they're a startup, even if they're your employer, if it's your work, it's your work. If it's your work, it's your work. Even if they fire you, they shouldn't be able to take that from you because it's yours. So do the work, do the homework in whatever country you're from. How do you register? Who's responsible for registering this solution? How do I make sure that nobody thugs me? If they do, how do I make sure they get paid? Right? Because you don't want to be at early in your career, I don't know, conflicting, taking your no, no, no. You just have to be smart about it, because it's your solution. Find out, how do I protect my IP? How do I register it? How do I make sure it's safe? But also too, if you are already in a position and they've taken advantage of you, I I do not I don't know, I don't think that your ideas are going to run out. Sometimes I think we have to pick our battles. If it's a fight that you want to take on, a fight that you think you can win, if it's worth fighting, I don't know, maybe go for it. In my opinion, if you're still young, I would take this as a learning curve, as a learning opportunity, as a growth opportunity. Okay, this happened. They've taken advantage of me. If you can't stand to work there, or if it's a toxic place, leave. I'm anti-toxic. Leave. But also then you learn what not to do. You learn what mistake not to make. If you get into somewhere, is there a contract drawn up? If they're not willing to draw a contract, have you registered your software? Have you registered your technology? Is it something that you can sell elsewhere? Because maybe that's just, the universe's way of telling you, what are you doing here again? Go and commercialize it. Go and start your own thing, sell it, because it's your idea, it's your intellectual property. It should be something that makes you money. So I think for now, speak to mentors. I hope you've got mentors. If in Mansa-to-Mansa, it means you do. Speak to people in your field, in your country, who have more context on the matter. If they're on the call, maybe they could share. Speak to them and get their advice, but also just take this as a growth opportunity for you. And based on what they say, then you can take it forward. But also, if you still have a chance, go through the right process and protect it. Protect your solution, because that's unfortunate.
I have a feeling we have to bring Rowena back for another session. I only have a feeling we have to bring her back. Yeah, because there's so much we want to tap. But I think we saw a hand up. We love to hear people talk in the call. So Shigal, I think we saw your hand up. Maybe you can open your microphone and just ask your question or anything, any comment you want to add. Shigal, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So I say the most important skill is managing people. I just want to know how we should manage people.
how we should manage what? Can you come clear? I think we find it difficult to hear you.
Yeah, for my phone is very bad. Okay. So, yeah, we have to develop our soft skills, right? And one of these important skills is we should manage people's behavior and how we should manage it, how we develop people's skills. Yes.
I think I kind of correct me if I'm saying it correctly. Rina, you spoke earlier about a soft skill about managing people, and I think he kind of wants to understand how exactly you do that. Did I get that right?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I think that's what I gathered.
Okay, so for managing the people, first you need to do self-discovery. So the first step of learning how to relate with people is self-discovery, and there's many tools, there's many spaces where you are able to discover your personality type, your character temperaments, all these things that sort of help you understand the kind of person you are, how you respond to communication, how you respond to other people, how you're best suited to relate. Because if you don't understand yourself too well, then you'll struggle to relate with others. So one, there's tools that are online, some are free, some are for paying, all kinds of tools that help you with self-discovery. But also there's spaces like this where there's free webinars and free, basically information is available. But first, I would advise that you first focus on self-discovery, understanding and learning what it is that your temperament is. Then you can go into applying that in the different spaces that you're in. So if it's work, then there are different skills that you can harness. If it's work, there are different skills that you can harness depending on the level you're at. So all these relationship management tools normally help you relate up, relate down, relate, at a parallel level. But there are also tools that can help you understand how to relate with people. And I think even in personal, how you relate with other people outside, because it's not only workmates, it's how do you relate with people in your ecosystem, mentors, mentees, whatever it is. But there are tools that are available online and spaces that you can be in like this, where you can have these exercises done. If you've got a good employer, then you can even ask and they can take you for an official course to do that. So that's available.
Thank you.
I hope I continue.
Prince, are we?
There's another hand, I
Oh,
think.
we have some
Yeah, I mean,
questions.
there are so many. I mean, it's just a confirmation. We need to
Very
have
good
another
amount
session.
of time
Actually,
we have left with you.
Faik,
And I know we're like,
Faik,
we want to hear more, but then we have so many questions.
yeah,
So we want to hear,
yeah.
and I will try my best to get as many questions in, guys. We're going to invite her back. We have to. You're very
Yeah.
popular. So this is good. So yes, I think we want to hear a little bit more from you, and then I will continue with the Q&A if that's okay.
Okay, that's okay. So I was still trying to sort of give us principles that can help us move from are you lost to you are early. And of course, one of those is technology. One of the bigger ones is technology. We know that technology, sometimes there's a misconception that technology is going to replace us, but technology is not going to replace you. Irrelevance is. For as long as you become irrelevant, then technology will replace you. And that for me is it's a constant push each time I'm not interested in learning a new tool, learning a new skill, I must remind myself that, irrelevance is what will get me extinct in this world. And it's one of the things that, again, in my journey of being CE, I had to learn the hard way. How do I stay relevant? How do I stay, what am I currently fixing that anybody else cares about? And so I have to go into what are the practical tools that I need for speed, for managing my systems, for communicating, for us who've been working for a while, some things I keep telling people, guys, I have someone for that. Because I feel like I did this when I was so young for so long. I'm like, am I really doing this? It's important. It's important that I still know, what's new and what's trending. I can't delegate. We can't outsource knowing technology. We can't outsource. If you want to stay relevant, then you must know the technology. Because our job as human beings, our job as people building, is that we will use the technology to multiply. Technology is a multiplier of speed, multiplier of access, a multiplier of output, and more importantly, a multiplier of reach. So for us, for you to not be late, for you to be early, means that you're getting ahead of your peers in terms of how many people you can reach. You're getting ahead of your peers in terms of how many people you've got access to. You're getting ahead in terms of how much output you can give, how fast you can go to the market with a product or whatever it is. So technology is something. I told you earlier that you don't have to be a software developer. You just have to understand the world that technology is surrounded by. Solution, problem, input, output. Something goes in, what's the problem? Technology fixes it, what's the output? So if you can understand the ecosystem of, again, what is the problem and what tool you can use to solve it, surely you'll be miles ahead of any of everybody else. Of everybody else. So technology is not a threat. It's something that's supposed to help us um, get ahead of it. Staying the same is what will get us out of the picture. So we have to use technology. Use AI to help you think better. Use digital tools to help you organize your life. Use platforms to build visibility. I'm always singing this song, visibility is not vanity if you have a purpose. If it has a purpose, it's not vanity, be visible. Use IT because how will people know what you're selling or what your product is if they don't know about you? Use the internet, use tools to get access. Don't sit outside the future and complain that it's moving without you. Don't sit outside the future and worry that you might become extinct. You probably will. So technology is how you avoid being late. Get ahead of it. Subscribe to the right read. I can't stress this further. I get into many spaces and I realize the culture now is very short attention span, very micro based. Everything is 2 minutes, 1 minute. I saw an article the other day and they were saying how Netflix makes movies much dumber. The plot is much more predictable. And they're accommodating the mind of a multitasker, the mind of a short attention span. So imagine if that is your customer. Imagine if that is who you're serving and you don't understand technology. What are you going to do to keep their attention for long, right? So technology is how you make sure that you are on time and ahead for what it is that you want to do as a leader. So if you're building, you can't get away with it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't fight it. I was arguing with my supervisors the other day, and they were telling me, "Oh, Madam, see, all these people, they're so lazy. Goes into Chat GPT. They don't even edit." It was like a whole debate, and they were trying to tell me not to pay for it. Don't pay for it. They're not thinking anymore. I said, okay, now do I want unrefined thoughts that we have to then spend a month reprocessing and refining, or would I rather have a chat GPT version of their thoughts that we can then start to, like, at the end of the day, it's saving us time, it's giving us analytics. I had to explain to them, and these are my leaders, I had to explain to them that there are benefits to technology because you can't sit outside the future and complain that it's moving. Because if you put yourself against any competitor, they're using ChatGPT or whatever tool they're using, they will analyze it, harness it, manage whatever it is. You both have the same target. They will run much faster than you. So at the end of the day, we won't get any extra points for saying, no, we used our intellect, we used our own brains. We used our own brains and technology versus we used our own brains. Yeah, give me brains and technology. So technology is something that we can't avoid. But also, in line with technology, we have to challenge identity. You don't have to be a geek. You don't have to have, sometimes when you think of it's those IT guys, it's their problem, it's a data thing, I'm just a this. The era we're in is purely tech. So whether somebody's in finance or marketing or the HR or the receptionist, whatever it is, if you run an organization, if you're building an organization, tech is an everybody problem. It must be. For you to get ahead of it, it can't be something that we've got it for the tech people, great, they understand it. No, 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 no. If you're training on a tech solution, I advise you train everybody. If you're introducing new software, everybody should know. It should be a culture, an identity that you have as a company, as a business, that you're here, we understand technology, we use technology, it's great. So two things, technology, we must embrace it, we must use it, but also we must be intentional about changing identity and changing how we think about it. It's not only for the IT guys or for the developers, it's for everybody. All right. So that's one of the other ways that we are early. The next, I touched on it a bit, that's speed and sustainability. I had already mentioned that if your body breaks, your ambition becomes useless. So, in the whole, am I lost? Am I late? And by saying no, you're early. Why I said no, you're early is because the moment you start questioning mental health or questioning job satisfaction or questioning purpose or questioning, I'm working for so many hours, I'm working so late, what about my family? Or the moment your brain and your mind can start to ask such questions, you're actually early, you're right on time. You are on time to solve a problem because that means you're still alert and you're still mindful of what should matter or what should be in the balance. So is it ambition that you're chasing? Is it purpose? Do you want to marry both? You start to ask yourself things that every leader should work. I said that speed is something that is sort of rewarded in tech. How fast, how far, how high can you fly? But leadership can, and because of that, leadership can make you feel, I don't know if it's just me, sometimes you can feel like everything is urgent. Everything is urgent. We have to hit, we have to go at this time, we have to beat this timeline, we have to roll out this next version of the module, we have to chase, we have to. It's a constantly chasing our we have to, and a phantom deadline. Because whoever set that deadline, it's like a phantom mark of a fail. Whoever said what success looks like, it's success. The world just gives us these amazing marks and targets. So in IT, in leadership, it's very easy for you to run a treadmill of everything is urgent, everything is fast. But if you don't manage speed, if you don't govern your speed, it's only a matter of time before you have nothing. Nothing is sustainable. Everything will break. It's a sad reality. It will break. It's only a matter of time. If it's not your body, it will be the business, and that's the truth. Your speed in building, you must have speed governors. You must. When do we stop and review the strategy? When do I stop and review? Am I still in line with my goals? Is this where I wanted to go? How is this looking? We must have stop gaps to review, to check. Check yourself every so often. And that has to be intentional. As a business, as a company, are we winning? Where are we winning? Okay. What are the levers for this winning? Great. How are we facilitating them to make sure they're sustainable? Is it people? Are they likely to leave because of salary? Is it technology? Can we afford these licenses in perpetuity, or can we develop this thing? Is it the regulatory environment? Now this ministry is moving. You must take time. You must take time to govern speed, especially in technology, because that will be the surest way for you to crash and burn. Ungoverned speed will automatically lead to unsustainability. You won't be able to run anything for long. So, my advice to you, are you early? If you're asking yourself that question now, then yes, you're early. Arrest it now. Go back and get a pattern. Get a pattern. What is it that I'm putting in place to make sure that we check ourselves? What am I putting in place to make sure that we rest as a company, we rest as a business, I rest as an individual? What in my life helps me recover? Right? If we don't sell this much money, at the back of my mind, where will I find funding? Have I identified donors, venture capitalists? Is there a grant I'm chasing? Is there? You must stop to think, what will help me recover as a person? What will help me recover? Not just perform. So that's a speed governor. Speed governor is checking how am I performing, but after checking how I'm performing, the speed governor is how am I going to recover in the event. So another thing, if you're early now, catch it now. Think about and plan for speed governors. How do you rest? Make time for resting, have time to think, to re strategize, go back to the drawing board, ask yourself the same question, but also make time to rest. Make time to rest, recover. How do I recover the time that I've lost? How does my team recover all these years, all these months of working late? How am I motivating them? You must, otherwise, speed and sustainability they move hand in hand. So if one isn't managed, then the other can't be achieved. So that would be it. I told you guys what I want, my ladies. Excessive ambition just might be anxiety in wearing heels. So always think about how are we checking ourselves? How often are we checking ourselves? Are we checking what matters? How are we planning for recovery? Not just performance. You can't keep planning performance, chase. No. Plan for how do we recover in the event that this happens? How do we? And those are questions that we need to ask ourselves, right? I'm chasing all these grants. I'm looking for all these scholarships. I'm trying to get all these jobs. I met a young man I mentor in my church, and he came to me and he's telling me, he's in Essex, he's a very young boy. And he was telling me he's studying to do AI, but then he's studying how to trade. He's trying to do financial asset. I don't know. Then he's trying to become a professional basketball player. Then he's on the radio. He wants to become a DJ. He had like 10 million dreams. I was like, I love it for you, but what is happening? And I was having a conversation with his father. I said, this ambition is great. It's all over the place, which is, I guess, he has nothing better to do with his time. But you need to give him a rhythm to stop and check himself, right? Don't pour cold water on him. Let him. He has time. He's just finished, A levels. You could have just finished uni and you're in this school and you want to go for it, right? Give yourself, after a month, right? Go somewhere quiet, sit by yourself. Be honest with yourself. What is it that I need? Then look for that mentor of yours. Look for that accountability partner. Look for that decision circle I told you about. Guys, what do you guys think? Am I still on track? Is this on track? Build a pattern where you can check your performance now because you might be rushing. After that, build a pattern to recover. Because the way I was talking to that boy, before I knew he had begun a business about awareness for some new law drafted, I was like, we need to plan for recovery because, so we always have to think about that. Right? I don't know if you have any questions on that particular one.
I have a statement before I have a question.
Okay.
This is so necessary because I think you do such a good job of telling folks to remain curious and ambitious, but finding a balance to where your health and mental health is a huge thing today. So I think I love this balance that you give us about chasing your dreams and staying curious but making time for self. I think that's lovely and I admire what you do, but I wanted to make a statement about that because I think that comes with growth, right? And age where they're equally important. Like be ambitious and be fearless about what you want, but you have to check in with self. So thank you so much for highlighting it. And there are folks in the chat who are like, I'm trying to find myself. I don't know if I should give up. Maybe you just need to reset. And hearing that from you, someone who's so uber successful, I think it's very, very important. So that's I have. Prince?
Yeah, for that reason, there was this question in the chat. I want you to quickly react to it, Rowena. It says, I did IT at the university, didn't practice it. Been in customer experience for 7 years, but I want to transition back. What advice would you give me? Where do I start from? I want to do cybersecurity. Thank you.
Oh, wow. 7 years in customer service. Your dreams are valid, okay. Where would you start? Look around you. There's if you've been in customer service for all those years, one, you've probably hopefully made some useful contacts. People that are in those spaces. Never look far, never look too far before you look around you. So one, look up your relationships. If you're in a contact center, there must be an IT department. You must have customers. You must have a social network. Your social network is, I've had it said before, your social network is your net worth. Who you know matters. Who is in your circles matters. And young people pay attention because it does matter who is in your social network, who your social capital is. So in the contact center, hopefully you've made some relations there. Never be afraid to ask for help. I don't know if I should call it help. I find people who are I'm always like, I need a new job, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for this. And you're like, oh great, so who have you asked? And it's nobody. I don't know how they see that working. And I'm like, I'm sorry, how is this going to work? I'm waiting to see an advert. No, ask. Please ask. Look for those people you met in the contact center. Send them a message, right? So first organize yourself. Why do you want cybersecurity? Convince yourself, right? Because 7 years, maybe you want to leave because you're tired, or maybe you wanted to chase a dream that was dead, or whatever it is, be sure that it's what you want, right? Then after it's what you want, ask yourself, what kind of job, what kind of environment, what kind of workspace would I like to work in? People ask that question and some people struggle. What kind of place? A good salary? No, not what I asked. What kind of place? Private sector, government? You tick a box, get a list, right? Is it government? Is it private sector? Okay. Is it a large corporation or owned by an individual? Say small business. Is it somewhere in? And so you actually take your time and go to LinkedIn. Look at people you admire in that space. What kind of place do they work for? Where do they work? Is it something in place? Start to build a portfolio, because then when you approach your contacts to tell them where you want to go, what you want to do, then it's clear. They know how to help you. They know where to plug you in. So that's one. Get your contacts, get your social capital, ask them. But before you ask them, identify the kind of job. I was giving somebody a conversation with somebody, and I was giving them advice. They're also a CEO, and they're dying to leave their job. And I was asking her, so what kind of company would you like to work for? And she said, if it's not the UN, I'm not interested. She's as blunt as that. I was like, why? Then she began to tell me her reasons. And I said, oh, there are other companies that have A, B, C, D. And then we said, okay, let's go to LinkedIn. Open your LinkedIn. Who do you follow? Who follows you? So then we began to build. She was preparing for that position. So when you say that you want to go into cybersecurity, who are you following? Whose pattern are you looking at? I said, don't follow influencers, follow builders. Look for builders. Who's building? Who has built in cybersecurity, right? Start to follow them. Who do you know? Who's in your social capital? Ask them. Don't be afraid to ask. Nobody ever died from asking a question. Even Oliver Twist. Did you get porridge? I don't remember. But nobody ever died from asking, right? So ask them. Also define what it is that you want exactly. Because IT, there's a joke in Uganda that, when you tell your aunt that you did IT, before you know it, she calls you and she says, hey, my fridge is not working. God. It's like that course that they just think you do everything. What is it exactly that you want to do? Identify it, define it for yourself, but also position yourself to receive. By that I mean prepare. I give examples. I gave the last time, I think, Prince, you had me, I was giving an example of children. How when they prepare, they don't have to tell you that they're ready. Their actions will show you that they're ready. If you're leaving the house, you get your shoes, you get your keys. You're not talking to that child. You're getting your shoes and you're getting your keys and you're just going about your day. And a child will just look at you from the corner of her eye and she'll grab whatever slipper, whatever shoe is in her close to her and follow you out of. She doesn't know where you're going. She hasn't consulted. She's just showing you that I am ready. So even for you, polish your CV up, start to read on cybersecurity. Follow these people, identify the kind of space you want to be. Don't settle. Just because you've been there for 7 years, don't settle. Introspect. Where do I want to be? What do I need to learn to be there? What do I need to study? What do I need to polish up on? Who do I need to ask? There's no shame in asking, right? There's a reason for 7 years you made those contacts. So I think start with that. Start. Don't go too far. Start with your networks around and prepare yourself. There's opportunity everywhere.
Rowena, this is a great way to end this session. I mean, I just want to take a quick assignment with everyone on the call. I need a reaction, okay? If we want Rowena back for another session.
Should I be here for this?
In the chat, I want you to put any kind of emoji you want to put in the chat. Just let us appreciate and see if we have to bring Rowena back. And with this, on behalf of the community, Rowena, we are
Hey, Prince, one quick question before we go. I think it's a very important one, right? Rowena, for most members of our community, right? They wake up, they check their social media, they see, tech news, right? AI is growing rapidly. There's always something new that is coming up, right? They check LinkedIn or Instagram or Snapchat, they see Prince building this, Alicia building that, and they feel dejected, like I'm last, right? I'm still in maybe first year university, and I'm like, how long am I going to catch up? Everybody's moving way ahead of me. Like, for those students or that person, what do you have to say to them?
Okay. So what I have to say to that is, one, are you paying attention? I hope they have a pen or a paper. One is use technology wisely, right? Find the right tools, because technology gives you speed. Don't fight it. Find the right tools. It will give you speed. It will save you time. They might look like they got ahead. You don't know what tools they were using. Look for technology. Always be curious. What is everybody else using? What could I use to do things faster, to do them better, to get them out? How can I solve it faster? That's one. Two, build sustainability. Don't do that to yourself. Don't rush. You'll crash before you get to your destination. So build sustainability immediately, because if you have that buzz, especially after uni, and you have the pressure of seeing what everybody else is doing, you can easily rush into the wrong thing, you can rush and crash. Don't rush and crash. So give yourself, however small, say every Saturday, every weekend, I'll take a beat, I'll stop, I'll check. Is this aligned to my goals? Does this make sense? Is this what Alicia or whoever is doing? Just be honest with yourself, but take a beat. Take a constant beat, because you have to protect your humanity in order for you to accomplish your dreams. Two, learn faster. Learn faster. I can't say that any easier. That's why it's important to build sustainability, because if you don't have sustainability, you will crash. But you must learn faster. What is happening? What is trending? Learn faster. Be a bit hard on yourself if you can. Be a bit firm with yourself, because you won't always have this luxury. You blink and have God knows how many children and how many staff, and the time is now. So build the discipline, build the muscle, learn faster. Also decide sooner. I want to talk about that, but we didn't have time. Decide sooner. Many times we think we're confused about something, but we're not. We know the answer. We just don't want to. We know the course we have to study. We know the company we have to leave. We know the course to take. We know the answer. It's humanity. So decide as a person, decide that this is what I want, so that even if you see what everybody else is building, you're not swayed to it, right? If you see what somebody is building that's in line with what you want, then rather than feel pressured, you feel inspired. You have a model to follow. Remember, we said mentors, don't go too far. Go to somebody who's 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. So you look and say, okay, these people look like they're doing great, good for them. No, but if you know what you want and you see somebody in that space, then you aspire to connect, you aspire to learn. And that learning, I think I mentioned it, mentorship, learning, it saves you time. It saves you mistakes and time, so you do that. And lastly, adapt continuously. Technology won't kick you out, irrelevance will. Ignorance, as in adapt quickly. So don't get people to hold you accountable if you must. Find ways to force yourself to adapt. Don't fight change. It's the biggest mistake that the older people have. So if you're young out there, adapt. If you see people are moving a certain way, rather than feel pressure to be like them, first go back and figure out how you can, adapt, catch up with whatever is relevant, not because they're doing it, but because it will also get you ahead. So I think real quick, those would be my tips. But also, to crown it up, get exposure. Expose yourself. Read those books. Watch those things. Join these spaces. Exposure is the number one. It's like it breaks a cap somewhere. It breaks something in your mind that won't allow you to quit. Right? Expose yourself. I think that's would be how I would end it.
Thank you very much, Rowena. But it's been very insightful, and for that reason, that's why we have Mansa-to-Mansa community. This is a community we're trying to get the exposure closer to students, closer to everyone. We have mentors in the building. We have professionals, young professionals, full professionals who are there to train, support all kinds of disciplines as well. So, maybe quickly, let me take this opportunity to introduce everybody. So, Mansa-to-Mansa, you can have it in the chat. The link to the chat, you can join the community if you want to be a part of it. So let me quickly RukaPay.org. Sorry, yeah. So this is the link. You can get access to the platform, explore the platform, get to know what we do over there, and you can reach out to me or Alicia after this call if you want to be a part of this community. Thank you very much. Alicia, it's over to you.
I feel very full. I think I didn't eat yet, but I feel very full from this conversation. I am very grateful. Rowena, it's an honor to know women or women like you. I think this conversation was so necessary and so timely. And I thank you so much for your time. And I feel like you poured into all of us today. I think what we're building is bigger than us. I don't think we quite know what impact this will make, but we're very hopeful. And hearing from you, I hope everyone on the call feel very inspired to just walk your path. It's coming. The no's sometimes are is a redirection to your actual to alignment, and I think you echoed that during the conversation. So thank you guys so much for today.
Yeah, Alicia, quickly, I was just, my attention was just true that we have one of our favorite mentors in the house,
Yes.
Dr. Mickey Dad.
Yes.
Dr. Mickey Dad, if you're here, we want to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. Let me check if he is still on the call.
Did we lose him? We might have.
Hello, Dr. Mickey, can you hear us? Okay. I think he might not be in the call. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much, Rowena, for blessing this occasion. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Alicia. It was great moderating with you.
Oh, you as
Thank
well.
you, everyone. Your questions are well captured. We have it there, and then we are hoping that we'll get back to you with the responses. We'll check with Rowena and see if we can get back to you on the responses. For sure, I believe Rowena will grace us another opportunity to come and share her experience with us once again.
We're hoping.
Thank you so much for making time, and have a great evening, have a great morning, have a great afternoon, everybody.
Have a great week.
A great week as well.
Yes. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.